Good day, students. Advocate Bapu Sahib Honde High School in Avla has come up with a new video. Myself, Mrs. Naira Sheikh, your English 1 teacher, has brought this video for you. Our today's topic is the King of the Golden River. Now, students, when I take the name of the Golden River, what do you think? The river is made of gold? No, but in this lesson, you will actually learn what it's meant by saying the King of the Golden River. We'll start with our sight reading words now, students. The first word is fertile. F-E-R for T-I-L-E tile, fertile. Second word, mountainous. M-O-U-N-T-A-I-N, mountain, O-U-S-us, mountainous. Third word, streams. S-T-R-E-A-M-S, streams. Fourth word, constantly. C-O-N, con, S-T-A-N-T, stent, L-Y, ly, constantly. Fifth word, treasure. T-R-E-A-S-U-R-E, treasure. Sixth word, valley. V-A-L-L-E-Y, valley. Seventh word, squats. S-C-H-W-A-R-T-Z, squats. Eighth word, hunts. H-A-N-S, hunts. Ninth word, gluck. G-L-U-C-K, gluck. Tenth word, hedgehogs. H-E-D-G-E, hedge, H-O-G-S, hogs, hedgehogs. 11th word, expensive. E-X-P-E-N-S-I-V-E, expensive. 12th word, extraordinary. E-X-T-R-A, extra, ordinary, O-R-D-I-N-A-R-Y, ordinary. 13th word, mustache. M-O-U-S-T-A-C-H. 14th word, shocked. S-H-O-C-K-E-D, shocked. 15th word, conical. C-O-N-I-C-A-L, conical. 16th word, whirlwind. W-H-I-R-L, whirl, W-I-N-D, wind, whirlwind. 17th word, bobbing. B-O-B-B-I-N-G, bobbing. 18th word, spinning. S-P-I-N-N-I-N-G, spinning. 19th word, visitor. V-I-S-I-T-O-R, visitor. And the 20th word is gentleman. G-E-N-T-L-E, gentle, M-A-N, man, gentleman. We'll now move ahead towards our meaning, students. We'll now begin with our meaning, students. The first meaning is fertile. F-E-R-T-I-L-E, fertile. It means able to produce great crops. So when we say that the soil is fertile, it means that that particular soil is able to produce good crops. Beans. Beans means raise. Wages. The money that is paid for the work that a person does. So when a person comes to do some particular work for you and you pay them money for the work done for you, it is known as wages. Fourth one, mending. Mending means repairing. Fifth one, cloak. Cloak means a warm piece of clothing. Sixth one, bobbing. Bobbing means. So now let's begin with our lesson, students. This is the part 1. That's the first part of the lesson. Long, long ago, in the mountainous part of the country, there was a fertile valley. There were many waterfalls leaping down the mountain tops, but not into the valley. They all ran down the other side of the mountain. One of the waterfalls was very high and shone like gold in the beams of the evening sun. People called it the Golden River. So as you can see, students, in an image over here, that this story is about a long time before, where in the mountainous part of the country, there was a fertile valley. Now, what did I tell you the meaning of fertile is? The place where the soil grows very good crops. That place is known as a fertile place, a fertile soil. The soil is fertile. There are many waterfalls leaping down the mountain tops, but none of them went into the valley. Where did they go, students? Yes, they ran down to the other side of the mountain. Now, one of these falls were high, very, very high, and the waterfall seemed to shine like gold during the evening sun. People called this place as the Golden River. Now, though there were no streams running down the valley itself, the wind constantly brought close to the valley. Now, though there were no streams running down to the valley itself, the wind constantly brought the clouds close to the valley. Even though there were no streams, that means there's no water that was flowing, the streams of water from the waterfall, none of the waterfalls were flowing towards the valley. Even though the wind used to bring the clouds close to the valley so that it could rain in the valley as well. Even when the rest of the country was dry, it always rained in the valley. In the valley, the wind and the clouds made the crop green and the hay high, the apples red, the grapes purple, and the honey sweet. So, although it never used to have waterfall into the valley, but the clouds always, due to the wind, used to come towards the valley and it used to always rain in the valley. And in this valley, the speciality was that the crops used to always be green, the hay used to be high, the apples used to be red, and the grapes used to be purple. And the honey was as divine and as sweet as possible. People used to call this valley as the Treasure Valley. The Treasure Valley belonged to the three brothers, Squats, Hans, and Gluck. The two older brothers were big, ugly, and wicked. They were good farmers, but they killed everything that was not profitable to them. Even little things like the birds and hedgehogs and the crickets. So, as we can see in an image here, students, there were two big brothers, two elder brothers, known as Squats and Hans. Now, how were these brothers? Yes, they were ugly and wicked, but they were also very good farmers. And the third brother, who was Gluck. Gluck was very, very innocent and a very loving boy. He was very helpful. They did not treat their servants well and gave them only poor wages. So these heartless brothers, called Hans and Squats, they were so heartless that they did not have any feelings even for their own servants. They only gave them poor wages, that means very less wages. They waited till the corn had become very expensive in the market and then sold it for twice its value. So, as we know that these two brothers were very good farmers, in their farm they also planted a lot of corn trees. So, when the corn used to get very expensive, it is then they used to sell this corn. Till then, they used to keep it safe. They were very rich, but they never ever gave even so much as a penny to the poor. Although they were filthy rich, that means they had lots and lots of money. But still, they never had an attitude or a feeling to help the poor in any way. People call them the Black Brothers. So these two brothers, that's Hans and Squats, they were both known as the Black Brothers. The youngest of the three brothers was only 12 years old. He was just the opposite of his brothers. Now, who was the youngest brother, students, I told you? Yes, it was Gluck. So, Gluck was only 12 years old. And he was exactly the opposite of his brothers. His brothers were wicked. They were rude. They were ugly. But Gluck was very kind. to every living thing, though his own brothers were very cruel to him. They did not like Gluck because Gluck was not like them. He was not selfish. He was not wicked. He was innocent, loving, and kind. They used to make him do all the cooking and the mending and the housework for them. So, all the housework that used to be there was done by Gluck for the two brothers. They never used to help him in any sort of household. One evening, the two brothers had gone out. As usual, they had warned Gluck to let nobody in and give nothing out. Gluck was to get their dinner ready for them. So, as I told you earlier, students, Hans and Squats they did not like Gluck. They used to make him do all the household work. One day, they had both gone out in the evening and they had warned him that he should let nobody in. That means not allow any stranger to come in the house and give nothing out from the house. No articles from the house should be given out. And Gluck was kept in the house to see to it that their dinner was kept ready for them when they come home. It was raining very hard outside and the weather was very cold. Just then there was a double knock on the door. Gluck went to the window and put his head out to see who it was. He saw the most extraordinary looking gentleman standing at the door. So, as we can see in this image, students, the climate does not look very good. It seems to be very cold. The weather is looking cold outside. And there was a knock at the door. Somebody knocked the door. Now, Gluck was standing on top of the window and he looked down to see who the person down is. And whom did he see? Yes, he saw an extraordinary looking gentleman. Someone looking very different. He's standing down at the door. The strange visitor was very short. Now, as you can see in the image, this visitor who's come to meet Gluck is very short looking. He has a long nose. His cheeks were red, curly moustache, and merry twinkling eyes. The description of the visitor is given to you in this stanza. He wore a conical cap as high as himself. That means the length of the cap was as good as the visitor himself. And a cloak that was 4 times as long as him. So you can see in the image, students, here, the visitor has worn a cloak and the length of the cloak was 4 times the length of this visitor. I am wet, let me in, said the stranger. So the stranger requested Gluck that to let him in as it was very cold outside. I beg pardon, sir, said Gluck. I am very sorry, but I really can't. My brothers would beat me to death if I did any such thing. So Gluck was aware of his brothers, their behavior. He knew what they would do to him if he allowed the stranger to enter into the house. But Gluck saw how hard it was raining, and how cold it was, and how poor the gentleman looked. So he seen. Now, although he knows that his brothers would beat him to death, in spite of that, he could not go against his own nature. Now, how was Gluck's nature? Yes, he was a kind little boy. So, abiding by his nature, he allowed the gentleman to come inside. So he opened the door and let the stranger in. Gluck thought he would let the stranger get warm inside for some time and ask him to leave before his brothers came home. So Gluck had a thinking that now if I allow this visitor to come inside, I'll allow him to sit for some time, to get a little warm. And before his brothers could come inside the house, he would ask the visitor to go back. The stranger, however, had no plans of leaving. In fact, he told Gluck that he had nothing to eat for 2 days and was very hungry. So, although Gluck had made his decision that he'll take the stranger inside the house, but before his brothers can come, he would allow the stranger to go back. But the stranger had no plans like that. In fact, the stranger told Gluck that he had not eaten anything for 2 days and he was very, very hungry. It melted Gluck's heart to hear this, so he decided to give the stranger a part of his own dinner. So Gluck felt very bad. His heart melted, and he decided that his share of the dinner he would give this stranger to have. Before the stranger had eaten it, however, the wicked brothers returned. They were shocked to see the little gentleman sitting in the house. So before the stranger could finish his dinner, who had entered inside, students? Yes, the wicked brothers, Hans and Squats, had entered inside, and they had seen the gentleman sitting there, and they were shocked because they had warned Gluck not to let anyone come in the house, and Gluck did not listen to them. At once the brothers began to shout at Gluck. Squats threw a rolling pin at Gluck. At that instant, the stranger put his conical cap and the rolling pin went spinning to the corner of the room. So, in anger and irritation, what did Squats do? He took a rolling pin in his hand and he threw it towards Gluck. But the stranger put his cap in the middle and hitting his cap, the rolling pin went straight spinning into the corner of the room. The brothers turned to the visitor and ordered him to get out of the house. The little man, asked him to let him stay as it was cold and wet outside. Now, these brothers were irritated on him and wanted to throw this small little gentleman outside the house. But this gentleman pleaded, that means he asked for forgiveness, and said, Can you please allow me to stay for some more time in the house as it is very cold outside and it's raining, so it's also wet. But the evil brothers wouldn't listen. They rushed at the old man to throw him out of the house. To their surprise, they found that they couldn't touch him. Now, after pleading in front of these two brothers also, they did not listen. And in anger, they went to pick that old man up and throw him out. But they were surprised. They were surprised that they could not touch the old man. Now, why is that so? Let's see. Instead, they were themselves swept to the corner of the road with the rolling pin. So instead of taking hold of the old man and throwing him out, these two themselves were thrown in the air to the other side of the room where the rolling pin was. Then the old gentleman gathered his cloak and the cap and said, At 12 o'clock tonight, I'll call again. But since you have treated me so badly, it will be my last visit I pay you. Then he went like a whirlwind. So although this gentleman, he pleaded in front of the ugly brothers, they did not listen to him. And he really felt very bad and very insulted. And he made a statement that at 12 o'clock, once again at night, he would visit them. He would call them. And that would be the last visit he would pay to the Black brothers. Saying this, like a whirlwind, he disappeared out. That night, a big storm woke the brothers. It shook the house and blew away the roof. So, as you can see, the big storm had come over there and it had taken a complete devastation onto the Black brothers. Their house was shaken and the roof was blown away. Once again, the wicked brothers saw the strange visitor. He was sitting on a cloud, bobbing up and down. So again, from the window, they seen outside on a cloud. This strange visitor was sitting and he was bobbing. Bobbing, that means moving quickly. He was moving up and down onto the clouds. You may go to your brother's room. I have not damaged it, he told Hans and Squats. Remember, this is my last visit. You will find my card on the table. And with these words, he disappeared. So he made a statement and he told them that I have not damaged your brother's room. He was kind to me. He liked me. He gave me food to eat. And so I have not damaged his room in any way. You can go there and see it. And on the table, you'll also find my card. Have a look at it. In the morning, the brothers saw from the window that the swan had swept away the whole trees and the crops from the treasure valley. So, from the window in the morning, once Hans and Squats got up from their sleep, they seen that the entire field, the entire treasure valley was devastated. It was ruined up. Everywhere they saw only red sand and grey mud. All they could see was only sand and mud. All the trees, the fruits, everything was all washed away with the wind. The valley was a picture of ruin. You can see the image here, students. In the earlier image, we had seen a beautiful looking valley where there were a lot of trees, a lot of fruits, beautiful sunshine. But now, everything was devastated, everything was ruined. The brothers then crept into the kitchen. On the kitchen table, they saw a small white card. Now, what was written on the card? It was written Southwest Wind Esquire. So, this was a card of the little gentleman who had come. Who was the gentleman, students? Yes, he was the south wind who has always brought along with him the clouds to the treasure valley so that the treasure valley could flourish. Now, this south wind has got very angry and has ruined everything and gone. What will happen next to the treasure valley? We will see in our next part of the video. I hope you liked watching this video, students. Thank you for watching. I would now request everyone to kindly subscribe to our channel to avail further notifications of our upcoming videos. Thank you and have a nice day.